Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome. This is video number 387 and today's video lecture is based on a question: is Pakistan among the World Bank's top 10 debtors? Let me start with the introduction. There are 121 low and middle income countries which have borrowed money from the World Bank. But almost half of the borrowed money owed to the Washington-based World Bank traces back to just 10 of these countries. Now, which are these countries? As far as India is concerned, India takes the top spot in terms of money borrowed from the World Bank as of 2021. It owes about 39.7 billion debt to the World Bank, which is recorded at the end of 2021, and that is double that of the next biggest debtor, and that is Indonesia, which has borrowed 19.6 billion US dollar from the World Bank. Pakistan ranks third, followed by Bangladesh, which takes the fourth position among the top 10 biggest debtors of the World Bank. And Pakistan owes $18.3 billion, whereas Bangladesh owes $17.8 billion to the World Bank as per the World Bank record. In this slide, you will see the outstanding debt balance by continent as of December 31, 2021. Countries in Asia have borrowed $166.69 billion from the World Bank, followed by Africa, that has borrowed $91.96 billion, and then there is the Americas with $71.2 billion of debt. After that, there is Middle East, which has borrowed 33.59 billion US dollars from the World Bank, and then there is Europe with $27.36 billion debt. In this table, we can see that out of the total debt, that is about $391 billion, Asia constitutes 42.7% of the total debt. That is 42.7% of the total debt as on December 31, 2021 has been borrowed by the countries in the Asia. The African continent accounts for 23.5% of the total debt, followed by the Americas with $18.2 billion, 18.2%, and they have borrowed $71.2 billion. Middle East accounts for 8.6% of the total debt with $33.59 billion. Europe accounts for 7% of the total debt with $27.36 billion of debt. The geography of the World Bank debt has evolved over the years as low and middle income countries move up the development ladder, increase their access to international capital markets, and eventually become less dependent on development finance. However, given its loans' long maturity, the list of the bank's biggest debtor may reflect disbursements that happened decades ago. India is a case in point. Although it is the World Bank's biggest debtor, its existing stock of World Bank debt jumped from 5.6 billion to 37.1 billion between 1980 and 2010. It then almost stopped growing, reaching $39.7 billion at the end of 2021 as the country accelerated in its development journey and increased its access to commercial capital markets. Similarly, Brazil and Mexico, which stood in 7th and 8th position respectively in the top 10 of World Bank's biggest debtors at the end of 2021, have seen only marginal increases in their overall World Bank debt since 2010, as they both clinched upper middle income status. China is another case in point. The country remains the World Bank's 5th largest debtor. Its World Bank debt increased by a factor of 24 between 1980 and 2010, when it peaked at 22.1 billion. Now, if you compare this, Pakistan ranks third in terms of the debt of the World Bank, and it is ahead of China. Although China is one of the biggest countries and its economy is growing at a higher rate. India is also growing at a much higher speed as compared to Pakistan. Then, in the following decade, China actually repaid part of its outstanding debt towards the World Bank, which stood at $16.6 billion at the end of 2021. So it means Pakistan owes to World Bank more than 18 billions, whereas China only owes 16.6 billions to World Bank at the end of 2021 figures. As China has lifted millions from poverty and it is expected to become a high-income country in coming few years. On the other hand, the rest of the top 10 is populated by fast-growing lower middle-income countries, mostly from Asia, that have experienced great levels of development finance support from the World Bank since 2010. Indonesia stands out in the second place after India with a total outstanding World Bank debt of $19.6 billion at the end of 2021, with an increase of 73% from 2010. Then comes Pakistan in the third place with a total debt of $18.3 billion, with 55% increase from 2010. Bangladesh is in the fourth place with $17.8 billion, and it has an increase of 67% from 2010. Vietnam is in the second. Vietnam is in sixth position with $16 billion, with a 107% increase from 2010, and Colombia is in ninth place with $13.5 billion, and that means that there has been a 80% increase between 2010 and 2021. But the largest overall increase in debt stock in the top 10 belongs to Nigeria, which is in 10th place. Between 2010 and 2021, its World Bank debt has shot up by more than 230%, which reached to $12.3 billion. Here is a bar graph of the countries who have been borrowing money from the World Bank between 2010 and 2021. Ethiopia ranks first in terms of total borrowing, and it's almost 9,500 million US dollars. And then there is Nigeria and Vietnam, and Pakistan ranks ninth in terms of borrowing in this list, and that accounts for almost 6,500 million US dollars from the World Bank. And then there are some other countries: Colombia, Morocco, Tanzania, Uzbekistan, Iraq, Ukraine, Argentina, Ghana, Mexico, Uganda, and Jordan. Uzbekistan, whose World Bank debt jumped from just 373 million in 2010 to 4.3 billion at the end of 2021 is also one of the major debtors of the World Bank. Another country that stands out is Ethiopia, as I told, which has accumulated a total debt towards the World Bank of 11.7 billion at the end of 2021, a large increase from 1.8 billion in 2010. From a regional perspective, the World Bank increased lending the most to sub-Saharan countries and countries from the Middle East and North Africa between 2010 and 2021. In both regions, World Bank lending increased 4 times faster than in East Asia and the Pacific, as well as Latin America, and 5 times faster than South Asia. The crux of this presentation is that no country owes the World Bank more than India, Indonesia, and Pakistan. These are the three major debtors of the World Bank, and almost half of the total borrowing by the World Bank is owed by these three countries, that is India, Indonesia, and Pakistan. But ladies and gentlemen, this is only about the debt of the World Bank. Pakistan also owes debt to other multilateral, bilateral, and other international agencies also. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, kindly do so, and do not forget to click on bell icon. You will get notification about my other videos that I'll upload for you. Kindly share this channel with your friends, with your colleagues, so that they can also get benefit of this. Thank you. See you in another video.